One of the most easily recognizable constellations is Orion's Belt. In Norse poetic Edda, Grimnismal is the words of Odin in the skies, with the word Grimnir meaning cloaked one or shadow face. The preface of Grimnismal revolves around the two fostered sons of Odin and his wife Frigg, named Garethur and Agnar. Odin and Frigg speculated which one of these fostered sons will become the most affluent and renowned. The constellation of Orion takes on numerous interpretations dependent upon which story in the poetic Eddas is being told, the context of the Eddas being more relevant during certain times of the year. In the context of Grimnismal, the two fostered sons are fishing out at sea, and Garethur goes to land while Agnar is lost out at sea after being shunned by his brother. Odin and Frigg watch from Hlidskjalf, a vantage point which appears to be a metaphor for the transit of the zodiac in its entirety. Fiskikolur, or the fisherman, is another name for Orion, and perhaps refers to Agnar, who in Grimnismal is Frigg's chosen foster son of the pair. And he ends up living in a cave with a troll woman. Garethur, on the other hand, is 8 years old at the time of these events. Orion is also referred to as Frigg's distaff, which is a reference to the Hagalaz rune, the ninth rune in the Elder Futhark, with nine symbolic of the nine worlds of the Yggdrasil. Important to note is the word et, cognate with the Scottish word ert. Et means family and also provides us with 8 directions. There are 8 runes in the three ets, with the first being referred to as Freya's et, with Frigg being an alternative name for Freya. The word et is in fact where we get the English word for the number 8. Studying the origin of root words has everything to do with Norse mythology, as the staff of Hermes or Caduceus can also be paralleled to the Hagalaz rune. It is associated with the word serpent, and there is an old Icelandic rune poem which reads, Hagel is a cold seed, and a fall of sleet, and a disease of serpents, with the serpent being an agent of decay, referring to Nidhogger, often equated with Jormungandr, the world serpent. Nidhogger gnaws at the roots of the tree Yggdrasil, while a squirrel named Ratatoskr climbs up and down the world tree, exchanging insults between the eagle atop the tree and the worm-like serpent below. So quite literally, the root word, associated with the Norn of the past, Erd. Hagalaz is also referred to as the mother rune, denoting a sense of primordialism or creation. Frigg's distaff is either a device used as a clue for sewing and weaving, referring to the sage knowledge of the Norns and the web of weird. Freya being the young and fertile iteration, beginning with spring leading into summer months, runic calendar wise. The planet Venus, alchemically speaking, is associated with Friday or Freya's Day, and the planet has an 8 year cycle. The story of Grimnismal goes on to Garethur's son, who was named in honor of his son brother Agnar. Odin divulges details of various realms and the ruling deities of each dwelling. These locations are described by Odin in the guise of Grimnir to Agnar, and can be thought of as a reference to astronomy, which I will have to delve into, Grimnismal, in a future video. The second runic Et is known as Hagel's Et, or the Et of Heimdall, who was born from 9 mothers, perhaps each representing a realm of the cosmos. The Big Dipper is another easily recognizable constellation, which in Norse astronomy is known as Karl's Wagon. Sometimes the Big Dipper is equated with the Sanskrit Kalachakra, and people will equate it with the swinging motion of Thor's hammer coinciding it with the changing of the seasons. It was Heimdallr who gave the knowledge of runes to mankind, and it is outlined in Rigsthula, Rig or Rieger being another name for Heimdall, who took the disguise of an eagle, and you can begin to see how the Norse gods can take different forms and change shape to be applied towards constellations. We have a direct reference to the classes or castes of men, with one of Heimdall's many sons being named Karl, hence Karl's wagon. Another easily recognizable constellation is the Little Dipper, which can also be referred to as the lady's wagon or Freya's cart. According to Bjorn Johnsson's astronomical map of the poetic Eddas, the Little Dipper is Gjallarhorn. This is the same horn Odin drinks from Mimir's well, in order to obtain the knowledge of the runes, before gifting Gjallarhorn to Heimdall. Odin hanging upon Yggdrasil, the world tree, is a misconception I am guilty of, when this can also be interpreted as Odin riding his eight-legged horse, Sleipnir. The Gjallarhorn is used to signal the impending Ragnarok of Jotuns, with the root word of Jotun meaning to eat, Jotuns being cannibalistic giants who will ascend through the mortal plane and wage a war upon the heavens, perhaps referring to antediluvian apocryphal texts such as the Book of Enoch. Heimdall during fall and winter months goes under yet another alias of Yulr. When looking at the model of the world tree, the realm of fire, Muspelheim, and giants, Jotunheim, is below Midgardr, Earth, the mortal realm, or cosmologically speaking, below the equator. Taking into consideration the view of the sky for the Nordic peoples, Scorpio peaks in June around midnight, and the upper constellation is only visible just before dawn and at the end of winter. The Little Dipper is an easy constellation to recognize because it is also used to find the North Star, which is associated with the Tiwaz rune, or Tears rune, leading us to the third Et of runes, Tears Et. Tiwaz is also known as the Warrior's rune, referring to the Einherja, Odin's chosen raiders who will lead the charge during Ragnarok out from Valhall. It is interesting to note the halls of Valhall, along with the World Tree, according to Einar Palsson's celestial map of the Eddas, are situated near Ginnungagap, the darkness or primordial void near the Sagittarius and Scorpio constellation. In reality, this is the center of the Milky Way. You also have Erdbrunner, the Norn Erd's well, along with the realm of ice, Niflheim, situated here as well, all correlating back to the Hagalaz rune. The constellation Nagus, or Naglfar, is the ship the Jotuns take during Ragnarok to cross worlds and planes. Naglfar is a ship of the sons of Muspel, the inhabitants of the underworld and the enemies of the gods. It must therefore be in the underworld, that is, below the equator, as the summer days are waning. That is all for now, as far as easily recognizable constellations are concerned, and how they relate to Grimnismal and Rigsthula. If you'd like to read them for yourself, I will leave links in the description as well as a chart to assist in the interpretation of Norse astronomy. Thank you for your time.